Hello, welcome to Fish, Fingers and Custard, the Explosion Network's Doctor Who after show, where we talk about, review and discuss each and every episode of Doctor Who. New Who. What is that what we called it? New Who? That was the thing, right?
Doctor Who Plus.
Doctor Who Plus, right. Sorry. Doctor Who Plus, into a second episode, I guess, of the Doctor Who Plus. This week, Wild Blue Yonder is the new 60th anniversary special. Once again, of course, written by Russell T. Davies. This week was directed by Tom Kingsley. Synopsis of which this episode was: the TARDIS takes the Doctor and Donna to the furthest edge of adventure. To escape, they must face the most desperate, fight for their lives with the fate of the universe at stake. Very secretive synopsis, but there was a lot of secrecy around this episode. People thought it was going to have a bunch of like cameos by other characters and doctors and all this like wild shit I remember reading. Turns out it's basically just Don Noble and Catherine Tate and David Tennant just really just acting their asses off for an hour basically. Ash, what did you think of this week's episode?
Okay, so we started doing this podcast with the first episode of Jodie Whittaker. Yeah. So this is probably the best episode we've done on this podcast.
Yes. Yes.
So,
100%. Yeah. This is the best episode we've done on this.
Yes.
I can say that without even going back and watching it.
No, I'm pretty confident with that timeline. Yeah, this was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It was a type of story that we did not get during 14's run or 13's run. 14. Yeah, Jodie Whittaker's 14.
Yeah. No, he's
13.
This is the 14th Doctor. Yeah, 13th Doctor.
So it's hard to keep track. There's too many.
13. She was meant to be the last one.
Yeah, it kind of evoked a lot of Moffat's type of episodes as well, which is funny because this was done by Russell T. Davies and not Stephen Moffat. But you're getting that kind of a story with the whole aliens from outside the universe, stuck on a spaceship, kind of characters having to face their own issues with alternate versions of themselves. And again, like, this is a type of episode I don't think they could have done without the budget that they got here. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm seeing people compare it to, a lot of people bring up the episode Midnight, where Donna and the Doctor are basically just on a train for a whole episode. And like that has more people in it, but I guess it's like that self-contained thing. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's one of those moments where, like, obviously we start the podcast and it's hard. I don't want to like ever sound like we keep shitting on the last couple of years, because like the thing is, for the most part, it was just average. Like, and it was shit at times. But at its best, it was fine, barely above, like, sort of bored. And then I'm watching something like this. I'm like, fuck, this is why I like Doctor Who.
This is what made me fall in love with Doctor Who.
Yeah, this is the type of story that makes me really love this show. This is the reason I wanted to do a podcast when, like, was coming in. You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of shit that gets me excited. So, that's like really, really cool. I thought that it's funny, like watching the episode, I thought it was like a very slow burn in, but like in retrospect, I appreciate just the time it takes to
get going,
to get going, like just build up with the, like them, they chat and they come out, they have a little bit of chat, they come out, they
you get
around a bit,
the dynamic, which, maybe is something that was missing, it part of the joy of these few episodes is getting to see these characters together again.
I don't know if it's, I don't even
them doing stuff together.
I accept maybe part of it's like, hey, these two are characters we know, but another part of me is like, well, no, not really. Like, yes and no. Partly, but the other part is like, it's just such a fun, wild Doctor Who story. This is
I mean, that's a nice sprinkle on top, but this could have worked with any Doctor in any age.
Yeah, you just needed two good. You just needed a good Doctor actor and a good companion actor, because this episode's very heavily relying on them being good on screen and both being able to play alternate versions of themselves and all that sort of stuff. So, so I'd say it would work with most pairings of Doctors and stuff. So obviously they land on this like planet Well, no, sorry. They land on the spaceship, get lost. Well, hold on. Rewind. I fucking forgot to skip past the funniest, the cold open. Fucking Isaac Newton comes out, apple falls on his tree. Next second, bloody TARDIS. By the way, how weird is it seeing the TARDIS in like motion? Like, you don't usually see it as like the animation on that has changed. You know what I mean? Like it's more visually.
I mean, it always moved.
It's definitely changed though. I feel like it's definitely like at a high frame rate or something. I don't know. Like it just feels more
bigger animation budget.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
The lighting. They put HDR.
I don't know. Maybe I'm watching 4K or whatever. I'm watching Disney Plus. So
maybe that's the difference.
Maybe it is the difference. I don't know. Like I'm so shook how good these Doctor Who shows look sometimes. I mean, I watched like the first, like I've got DVDs and stuff like that, but like the last couple of years I've been watching on. I haven't rewatched any of those episodes.
No, so you haven't gone back and watched them on.
Like I haven't rewatched. I just watch them on ABC. Yeah. So, fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Isaac Newton come down. Very funny bit. I don't know if like gravity is just not a word now anymore. Like is that the, like
it is everybody except the Doctor who remembers it's meant to be gravity.
Which my funniest bit is just him accepting that it's a thing now.
That's what
and
it
he
is.
realizes like the first time 5 minutes into the episode where Donna's like, what are they called now? Avity? No. Mavity, where she's like, there's no Mavity here. And you see him look at her and just be like, whatever, I'll just fucking forget it. And then later in the episode where he's like, gravity, and she looks at him and he's like, Mavity. Like, it's just...
Yeah. I love the joke that she wanted to tell that, the Doctor tried to stop.
Gravity
it's reminds me of our dynamic.
Yeah. We tried, but I can't stop you either. So yeah. It adds up. So all that was very funny, and then it is interesting how light of an open that is, and such a just funny open, and then the episode quickly gets like relatively dark. It's a very dark episode. This is, and not to the degree that I'm like, this is no longer a kid's show, but this is the kind of shit that's like, it's like this is the shit that makes kids scared
cry.
At night. Yeah, which is fine because I remember watching an interview once of Stephen Moffat where he's like, I want to scare kids. He's like, when I was a kid, Doctor Who, not all the time, but some episodes. I remember watching an interview where he's like, this monster or this, like certain ones used to scare him, and he wanted to bring back that feeling of Doctor Who. He's like, it's a show of monsters and shit. Yeah. Like it's not meant to be like cuddly and
how many kids do you think are traumatized and are terrified of stone angels?
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, a lot. So, and rightfully so. So, appreciate
that. Yeah. Take a sledgehammer to them straight away.
Yeah. Because it goes just like when they get into it, they're exploring and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like completely like, what is? There's not a moment of watching this episode where I'm like, I figured it out. I'd like to meet someone who's thinks
it's like I knew what was happening every moment.
I knew who was who. I figured it out 2 seconds in, like. Knew what the big reveal is going to be. It's like how could you have, because they got this little robot like thing joke. I'm like, I know where he's going. I know what the fucking bit is there, but go for the rest of it obviously. And then when they introduced the Doctor tasting that funky floppy disk was disgusting, but then when the fake ones come in and everything like that, I'm like, this is a very heartfelt scene and everything. Like I didn't have a moment of doubt.
No, it didn't click until. Even when they switched and they were both in the separate rooms, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. My brain was just so. Yeah, my brain was just accepting.
Caught in the conversation.
Yeah, I was just caught in the conversation. So very weird. But then
very cool magic trick.
My arms are too long.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, arms are too long.
I've seen some people say the CGI is not good. I think it's.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah,
it's for Doctor Who, but it's also on purpose because it's kind of stylized.
It's like a B grade horror movie,
Yeah, you don't want it to be super realistic.
No, and I think most of it looked pretty good. Like I feel like the worst part is when David Tennant's poking his head between his legs. It looks like he's just pop up from the floor,
or his jaw.
Yeah, the jaw. But then you have other parts where they're like super big in the hallway. I was like, that looks pretty good.
Or
green screen all looked pretty good. Like you could tell it was going to green screen the whole way, but still I thought it was pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have too many complaints about any of that. So what did you make of the big bad this week, the bad guy, which I think everyone's begun calling the No People or No Men or something. People have got a name based upon the subtitles. If you watch the show, it says like No Men or No Man or something like that. But yeah, so you've got these creatures on the edge of space. Never explain how they got into the ship. Doesn't matter. Not important. They get into the ship. Obviously, we by the end of the episode we learn that the creatures that copy you by scaring you, because the faster they scare you, the more like faster you act, and then they can read you faster and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is to basically become a complete copy. And then I guess kill the original.
Kill them,
like,
take the ship back, and then infiltrate the
human race or whatever.
Human race.
Or wherever the fuck these people
wherever.
From, I guess. Because the captain of the ship looked like a fucking dog originally, so I don't know. It looks like a dog.
It looked like
I don't know.
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
From the Thor comics.
So what do you think of these villains, these new monsters?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like, interesting idea. Like, again, like, it's a slightly different take on clones, I guess, or like a clone story of not being able to tell who's who, kind of thing, that kind of stuff. So that was really interesting. And then you get several times throughout the episode them trying to figure out if they're actually them or not, and like each time they actually figured it out, it was slightly different. And even the clones trying to trick them into like thinking they're human. That was cool too. So I think my favorite was David Tennant. The Doctor takes off his tie. He's like, "See, I'll take off the tie. So if you ever see me again, you won't. He'll be wearing a tie." It's like, cut back later. Where's your tie? Oh yeah. Once you let it go of things, they still exist. It's like the concept's like coming to his mind for the first time. That was really cool.
Which part? Sorry.
When Donna's talking to one of the doctors, and the doctor takes off his tie, and she figures out because his tie disappears. Yeah,
disappears. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you're watching it, you're like, what he says actually makes sense. That it's like, oh, they might not be able to like tell the difference between matter and whatever. Like implying basically that the whole thing is like the clothes are different. It's part of the body or whatever. But yeah, it just disappears and whatever else. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, one of the, I guess there's like not lots of discuss in the episode, but at the time, like it's some really cool things. I think
they call not things.
Not things.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
I was like, what was I saying? Non-people or something like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's official, but I mean, that's in the subtitle or whatever.
That's what I've got on the Doctor Who Wikipedia.
Yeah. So there you go. Not
TARDIS wiki.
Makes sense. The only thing I miss with this Disney Plus thing, I don't know why they don't have them on there, is we don't get the confidential episodes.
Maybe they're on the BBC website or YouTube.
No, because you can't watch them. It's region locked on BBC. So maybe on the YouTube. I'll have to look after because I'd like to watch them. But I miss back in the day you'd watch on ABC and either straight after or on iView after it would have the confidential episodes. So kind of miss that. But big moment from this week, and I want to get your thoughts on it. The very clearly making, at least putting the foot down, this is how I took it, and saying, no, those last couple of years of Doctor Who, we're not forgetting about that. In fact,
there wasn't a gas leak.
Yeah. We're going to make that a big part of the Doctor's story going forward. That's how I took it.
It's interesting to me because if people are getting into the show at this point, it's like almost exactly the same as the start of New Who, where
that's
some event happened before you started watching, but you can still jump in and follow along. It's just that obviously they shaped the Doctor in a certain way.
Yeah, but the only difference, I guess, is, and
we've seen it.
Yeah, so we've seen it. Thought it was meh, right? Flux and everything.
Yeah.
The big difference between that and 2005 is the war was never seen. It was just this thing that happened between the two different sides of Doctor Who, between the movie and the New Who. But you never once went, oh, because I haven't seen this, it ruins the emotional impact of this character dealing with this.
No.
So I really don't feel like that should make a difference here either if it's done properly, which Russell T Davies has done that storyline before. But here is just, I feel like going to do it in a new direction. I mean, the saddest thing is I really just felt like in 2 minutes, in that 2-minute scene between the Donna saying, the fake Donna being like, you know, I had all your memories, I could see what you've been through, Flux, all that sort of stuff. Half the galaxy fucking Thanos snapped out and all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I don't know if that was said.
Yeah, to be honest, didn't remember.
Yeah. I was like, I remember.
Is that what Flux was?
Yeah. I remember that's what the idea of Flux was. I don't know. I don't recall.
Didn't they unsnap it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought they unsnapped it, but guess what? Apparently not. Yeah, so that whole scene, the acting between the two of them, that was just heartbreaking. And then the Doctor running out, just like fucking aggressively punching the fuck out of that the grate and all that sort of shit. I was like, oh my god! In 2 minutes, one person has made the last run better than the person who was in charge of the show. It's like it's
more emotionally impactful,
more emotionally invested. And the thing is, I'm now invested in this Flux thing. Do I now like the Flux storyline? Like, is in retrospect, if this whole thing's carried out better, is it going to make it better?
Other key thing is you're not from Gallifrey. It's like
true,
bringing up the whole timeless child stuff that, you know.
Yeah, that's other thing. Like people were like coming to this though.
He's gonna retcon that.
Yeah, people like he's gonna retcon it. Thank God. I hate that, and I don't know how those people feel because not only is he not retconning it, he's fucking doubling down and saying, "Nope, I ain't changing it. I'm making it. I'm continuing the story. I'm fucking building upon that. I'm gonna make this the PTSD Doctor, motherfuckers." Like, you know,
that's why he's gonna die next week.
Yeah, just from fucking stress. I feel like so. I mean, and it is wild, and it is such a big storyline that I just don't feel like was done justice between, hey, in a very short time period, you find out that, well, no, you are there, half the world's universe population killed, right? That's major. You're part of that, unable to stop it. And B, find out that you're not actually Gallifreyan and you come from, you don't know
where you're from.
They're like two very wild things that just weren't given any time to like properly digest.
No, because the master had to come and steal a body.
Yeah, so Russell T Davies has gone, man, they are wild storylines. I'm going to make sure that we play on those.
Well, we'll see. I'll mention them. I'll mention these wild stories, but we'll see.
It's PTSD Doctor. I'm telling you right now. Shooty Gatwa.
I don't know if that's the direction he wants to take.
Well, I mean, the Doctor dealing with the war was like a very many years of stuff that,
but it was never his entire personality, is what I'm saying.
No, but I feel like this can be dealt with over a very long time as well.
Yeah.
There's no rush. There's no, hey, I need you to devote an episode to the Doctor going to therapy, you know?
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
I mean, like, if you want it, sure, but like, it's not saying it's not someone I'm asking for over here. So, but yeah, I loved all that. I thought that was very, very cool way to build upon that, and I'm down with it. Even as much as I didn't love those last couple of seasons, I'm glad to see it being used. It's like it happened. It happened. You can't just choose not to have it happen. It's the story.
I mean, they could have, but that was a weak.
Yeah, but. So. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so then obviously we get the runaway thing. I love the big reveal as well. So the trap behind the glass, the back and forth.
Again, behind the glass. It's like a running thing.
Yeah, maybe there's more to it. I don't know.
We'll see you next week if there's glass again.
There probably will be. Inside a helicopter, from what I've seen in the trailers. There's that whole back and forth, the part where it's like, well, we won't think, and then whatever else, and then the Doctor just can't help.
Didn't think this is the thing is true.
Yeah, didn't think it's true at all. So, like all that coming together, the reveal of like the hook on the outside being the knock and
the thing
whatever
that's banging against it
of the captain, all that sort of stuff. The coming together, the reveal that's a countdown, the slowest countdown ever, so they wouldn't realize. The fucking slowest robot ever in history. It's also, crazy.
Like discount Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Pretty much. It's so funny because the poster featured that robot, right? And you assumed going into it it was going to be a talking robot or like a robot that did something that was
It
significant
did do something.
robot. But really, it's just the world's slowest button pusher. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So nothing more. So yeah. What do you think of the reveal and how everything plays out?
No, I enjoyed it. I think it brought the whole mystery, I guess, kind of together. That this the former captain of the spaceship kind of figured out what was wrong with with the ship and these creatures, and made the ultimate sacrifice. So crazy.
Good choice.
Yeah,
and I mean,
and then the whole action sequence after.
Yeah,
crazy.
I liked it. Did you not?
No, it was enjoyable, but the Doctor chasing down the Doctor, and then the not Doctor run like a chimp to get faster.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
Donna fighting Donna.
Fighting Donna.
And I'll tell you what,
in the face, getting some
when the Doctor was going off with that other Donna, I was, for a split second, I did believe. I was like, wow.
It's like, man, he's fucked up. We're gonna open.
She's gonna die.
Is that what's gonna happen next episode?
I was like, that is the wildest twist.
That would be a choice.
That's why he regenerates, because he realizes he killed Donna.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, I don't deserve to live anymore.
Yeah,
No,
just fucking go again.
I mean, it's on Donna because bean isn't funny because it's a vegetable.
It's true.
It just is.
It just is. I mean, it's fair. I think she was taking the question too literal.
Yeah.
Actually, the correct answer is it just is, but yeah,
it's because it's sexual innuendo for a female body part.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that whole blind, and then the Doctor does commit murder by throwing the thing back into the ship right before it explodes. Just want to say that.
Well, I mean, he was just getting her out of the ship. What happens after she gets out of the ship is not his fault.
So I disagree with the outcome. Just it definitely was.
I don't know. Can a not thing be murdered? I don't know.
Can a not thing?
If it's not a thing, if it's not a person, can it be murdered?
I guess. I don't know. Got to ask the not things about that. How they feel about that.
Yeah.
And then we get to the ending of the episode. Absolute fucking teared my eyes up.
2 days late, they show up. Oh, and I love during the episode, Donna's like talking about her family and them being like 3 billion years that direction. And then she talking about what they would be doing if she didn't come back, like setting it up pretty much for the ending of like they come and visit every day, and Rose would go on to have her life and everything. But Wilf, he would be there, camped out, waiting for me to come back every day. And he was.
He was. So yeah, we get there. Old Wilf. I like the I don't know, just the. It was just so pitch perfect, like happiness combined with the David Tennant's deliver of ally there, soldier or whatever he says. Like just it was just perfect. It was perfection. It was, and the saddest thing is that's it. Maybe
next week.
No, that's confirmed. Russell T. Davies has said, sorry to break news to everyone, but like they filmed that, they didn't get to film anymore. That's it. He died, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So I assumed that he would have featured more in the next week's episode because that's how it's obviously set up. But they got this. At least they got this one scene. I guess they get this one last reunion. That's that's the bittersweet moment.
And if you stuck to the end of the credits, the episode is dedicated to him. So
so that's why, because this is last. That's all they got to film with him. So I mean, he's 93, I think, something like that.
Good run.
Fucking well run. I watched the behind this. I watched the clip someone posted. Again, that's why I want to watch Confidential, because someone posted a clip from it somewhere on Twitter or whatever I watched, where there's an interview with Bernard Cribbins, where he's like, I never retired. That's a terrible word. Don't use that word. Retired. No, retired. People just don't want to hire me anymore. Like, or something like that. It was quite funny. So, that was very, very good. And then obviously the other setup is the fact that, he's been camped out there for a couple of days, but he told everyone else to stay home and stay safe because next week's episode with the titled The Giggle is not like starting up next week. It's already happened. Like it's already in motion. A good old cliffhanger right into next week's episode. So, any other thoughts for this week's episode?
No, it was good. Very long corridor. Like crazy long corridor.
The longest corridor I reckon the Doctor's ever ran up.
Yeah.
That corridor would make Tom Cruise wet his pants, I reckon.
I mean, them freaking out about him having left the Sonic inside the TARDIS.
That's wild.
And also him saying, "Oh, there was this setting that I've just had off for the last 1,000 years."
I love
the idea. Is like
with Matt Smith at some point. I remember that being mentioned. I swear they mentioned. I don't know if they said it was on, but I remember there was an episode. I'd have to look it up later. I swear there was an episode with Matt Smith.
But I like his explanation as to why he didn't have the setting on. It's like, it'll just take us out. It won't go into any hostile place with a hostile action. If I left it on, I'd never get anywhere.
Yeah, never have any fun.
Sat in orbit for the whole year.
Yeah, that's true. True. All right, very much looking forward to next week's episode. Of course, the giggle. Excited to wake up and watch that and see should he got one make an appearance. Of course, we're getting a regeneration next week. So sad. We've had these 2 fantastic episodes, and now
what if we don't?
No, we are though. It's confirmed. I hate to keep spoiling stuff, but they keep.
But what if they're lying?
They could be lying, but I'm telling you, they've said that shooting up was next week. Like regeneration is happening.
Yeah, he'll show up in the Doctor realm.
So you've enjoyed us on Fish Fingers and Custard this week discussing the episode. Of course, let us know your thoughts on the show if you'd like. ExplosionNova.com/Discord, ExplosionNova.com/Twitter. And stay here, stay tuned until next week. Have a great time. Alon Z.
Alons, as idiots say, C.
Z. That's very good.